All right, bang on. All right, bro. You ready for this one? Talking about
Yeah, man.
Mount Shasta, place I had heard about, never given it too much look about, but I dug into it this week. This place is crazy. So to give it down real quick, we'll give it the geographical stations where it's at. Mount Shasta is located in the southern end of the Cascade Range in Skagit County in Mount Shasta, California, and it's a potentially active volcano, whatever that means. Like you're kind of a potentially active volcano, bro. Like ready to pop off at any pop off
Yeah,
any
we both.
second, bro.
That goes back to how we're raised,
So we're
man.
raised, man. Isn't everybody a potentially active volcano? I don't know. Some of you soy boys aren't though. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't say soy boys, man. That gets them fired up, man, in the last video, bro. So it was pretty funny though. Good conversations that we had.
There's a lot of there with easy triggers these days, so
Yeah,
just
so we got some good comments for our last video actually, and I was in there talking to some people, and won some people over, man, teaching them how to laugh. But there was this one cat in there, like this dude's got. I mean this dude is he's not happy with life. So
you just,
I mean, laugh it off, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
all right. Anyways, enough of that. That was last week's news. We're EnigmaCast, man. We're down with the new stuff. You know what I'm saying? Dog
Yes,
man.
done.
Done with the dog man for now. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
now we're talking about
Done.
Mount Shasta, bro. Mount Shasta. Check it out. It is out of the top 300 UFO sightings, paranormal sightings, whatever, on the planet. This bad boy is ranked at number 13. And I was like, wow. And yo, this thing, dude, has it all. Sasquatch, Bigfoot, UFO, ghosts, underground lost cities, mysterious disappearances, people reported having their DNA stolen. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So we got to go in, man. We can dig into it right now. So to start it off with, man, to get into it is that Mount Shasta. The picture of it was beautiful, right? Like I don't know.
No,
Yeah, I was like, wow. And they were talking about it. They were saying that it is out of place. And I didn't realize this. I've only ever seen one mountain like that before, and it was actually Mount Fuji in Japan. That's just a standalone like mountain. We grew up in mountain ranges, right?
right.
And there people were pointing out saying that Mount Shasta looks like it shouldn't be there. Like it's just a standalone like mountain in the middle of nowhere. But to me it looked like it looked like four mountains combined when I looked at the picture, right? So maybe but it was a volcano, so you never know how the runoff went to get on that, right? But anyways, so
So I'm thinking,
go ahead.
is you 14,180 feet tall
Right.
to the So and you brought up the lost continent. Let's see here,
Of Mu.
Lemuria.
Yeah, Lemuria. Yeah, Lemuria of the continent of Mu. Yeah, so.
And then they say and I'm sure you probably spotted this as well. The hole in the side, located in the side that was located 10 years ago, became the subject of a documentary about Mount Shasta.
Nah, I didn't
And
see
looking,
that. Nah, I missed that one.
yeah, so they said that this hole was discovered 10 years ago, but they believe it was the hole was made from people looking for the lost continent of Lemuria.
Oh, you know what? I did read that too. It was this cat. His name was J.C. Brown. He found it way back in the day. And then he said that he was I don't have the exact date when he was doing it, but it was in the 50s or 60s. Found that he was like a gold prospector, ended up in one of the lava tubes, went back like 11 miles, right? And then when he got back to the back, he found like what later they went on to say was like the lost city of like Lemuria, the lost city of Mu from the civilization of Lemuria, which I didn't even know anything about the Lemurians until I read about this.
Right.
If you guys watching, Lemurians was this other civilization that supposedly went to war with Atlantis way back in the day, and they destroyed each other. And then Atlantis, some say, is actually the city that's underneath Antarctica right now. And lost city of Mu is the lost civilization of Lemuria that's inside of like Mount Shasta. Wouldn't it be crazy if they're like having this crazy underground war? We didn't even know what was going on, right?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So the lava tubes on it, right? So another little interesting tip I came across, it seems to be for our last, except for the flat earth video we did, the last 3 videos we did, man, another Native American folklore story about this place, man. Right? Did you find that?
Yeah, well, yeah, I found it. Well, did you pick up the name of the tribe?
Yes.
That is to the area. What was that? I completely missed.
So around Mount Shasta, it borders the territory of 4 Native American tribes. I'm going to butcher these names, so if you're from this tribe, apologies. The Wintu, the Akamawi, the Atsugawi, and the Modoc, right? And so those are the 4 tribes that were around there. And from what it looks like, from what I read, is the Modoc tribe was the dominant tribe. It is the dominant tribe in that area. And bro, you remember I told you a story one time that if you go back to watch our Bigfoot episode 2 of the Bigfoot fights that went on in North Carolina, I told you I had heard a story about a Native American tribe going to war with Sasquatches.
Yeah.
It was the Modocs. It was out Mount Shasta. So evidently the Sasquatch in that area, they had a peace treaty, for lack of a better word, right? Like, we'll stay here, you stay there, don't mess with us. Evidently, Bigfoots, the Sasquatches, whatever, they actually have a word for them. They call them the Matah Kagami, Mathahkagmi, Matah Kagami. And it's actually funny because the Tibetan word for Bigfoot is Meto Kongmi. So I don't know how would the Tibetans and the Modoc tribe have common languages unless back in the day, go down rabbit hole.
Getting topic of the UFOs, right? So, I told you about the side hole in the continent. These clouds form, of course, at the top of this volcano. Lenticular clouds is I butchered that name. Lenticular. Yeah.
That's how do you say it in hillbilly? The liquor.
Moonshine. No, but I mean, I've seen like dozens of pictures of different clouds, but they all close to take the same form. They are round in shape, but some of them have stages to them. And it's just, I mean, they look like clouds to me. So I thought I was really going to see something or be able to find something that would be like, with all the sightings that are shown online and everything.
Right, yeah.
But, they all look like clouds to me. But, everybody sees things different.
Yeah, totally, man. And so that takes us back to the theory we were talking about, could Bigfoots be like, space travelers, like highly advanced? Because when when I read this story about what happened with the Modocs and the Bigfoots, so evidently these Bigfoots, they had a treaty with the Modocs not to do something, and these Bigfoot started snatching their kids, man, and like these Modocs, obviously, man, nobody's gonna let you take their kids, right? And they went to right. So they went to war with them, right? Big war broke out, right? And so, I wrote down the dates here too, man, that like it went down, is that they have the Native American tales passed down like word of mouth, but then like they started having reported sightings from people, visiting the area. The first one was in 1920, was the first sighting of like these Bigfoots there. But then in 1962, a female hiker reported that she saw a female Bigfoot like literally giving birth, bro. Like
Nope.
That's the first time I've ever heard of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it goes down to another one in like 1937. There was a pretty big sighting down there. In 1976, I guess a couple guys were out there camping. They woke up. Two of these bad boys were in their campsite or whatever. And then they found I think 1937, they found an 8-foot, an 8-foot skeleton of what they say is a Sasquatch skeleton out there. Of course, same thing plays out. Makes big news for one day, and then all of a sudden, authorities swoop in, take everything away. And we've already postulated on that why they would do that right there, because I don't know, man. Like,
I just want to 51, man. Me and you get to go on a full tour of Area 51 and debunk it all.
Right, man. So this crazy thing on this too is that I looked into like you can camp in Mount Shasta, man, and you can hike up. You get, like I said, you can summit it too if you get like this pass or something from the park rangers. I pulled up the website and I looked at it. I'll do some more digging into it. But this area, man, this area right here, man, out of all the places in the woods, man, this place right here, man, it gives me a moment of pause, bro, because of some of the stories that I read coming out of there. So if you take the Sasquatches aside, right, put those out, right?
Yeah.
You take the J.C. Brown dude going into the tunnel looking for that lost city that he found. And you talk about, all right, let's talk about like the UFOs and the ghosts. I mean, the UFOs as well. Take that aside. There's this one thing, man, I can let you know, man, that's my Achilles heel about the woods, bro. And it's just like the random disappearances. And there was this series that I was watching. I was called The Missing 411, right? And people would just go into the woods and they ghost out, man. And then search parties come in, they look for them, search an area, move on. 6 hours later, the person shows up in an area they already searched, right? And so I have my own theory on that, dude. It's like some kind of like missing time or some type of time skip, right? Where the person was just not physically in our realm for a certain amount of time. Then he comes back and they drop him off, right? And it's only one time I've ever been freaked out in the woods. So Papa used to make me go check his deer stands back in the day, right? And it was someplace up East Tennessee. I couldn't tell you where it was at. But like where he would go hunt, I hated these woods, man. I hated these things, right? I hated them, right? Every time I would go in those woods, it stayed quiet, man. And I never saw anything. Not even a squirrel, right? No birds, no squirrels. Never saw a deer, right? Nothing, right? And that place, bro, gave me the creeps. Like you have no idea. It always felt wet to me, man. It always felt freaking like cold and like just wet, right? And I would hated going in there, huh?
That was in Liberty, right?
I think it was, right? Yeah, for sure. And I hated it. I freaking hated it, man. I hated it so bad. Spookiest freaking woods I ever been in my life, man. And I used to hate going in there. You know, I had to do it though, right? Like I had to go up there. And of course it was there. No one's going in there to mess with it. You know what I'm saying? No one else wants to be here, right? So like, yeah, it's there. You know what I'm saying? Put a salt lick out. Okay, yeah, it's there. It's still there because no deer are in there. You know what I'm saying, right?
And from like having like a deer hunting background, I understand where your pop up was coming from, because there are hunters there and people that will go in there and take your stuff. You had justification for sending you in there.
Yeah, bro, and the crazy thing, man, all I had a stick. I'm just walking. If somebody's there and they want to do stand, take it. I want no part. Yeah, take it, man. There's no deer here. This woods feel haunted. You know what I'm saying? So like, I used to hate going in there, right?
This stuff up.
That's why this guy never came home with a deer. I know why. They're not there. You know what I'm saying? Right? So, bro, the same thing, man. Reading these stories, man, gives me the heebie-jeebies, bro. And it's the random disappearance, man. The time skip that I read about that makes me like, nah, man, this stuff is weird. There is weird stuff in the woods, right? You know this. You know it, right?
Yeah.
But like I say, I still stick to my, it's episode 5, and every episode I say it. The most dangerous thing in the woods is what, cuz?
The people.
People, man. It's people, right? It's people. That's the most dangerous thing in the freaking woods are people. And so, but still, man, in the back of my mind, when I was doing the Dogman research that we did, I came across this story out of Northeast America. Like, I want to say maybe New Hampshire or whatever. And they're talking about these beings that lay up against trees. They're really tall. They lay up against trees and they blend into the tree, right? And if you see them break loose charging you, you're pretty much like screwed or whatever, whatnot. I had never heard of that in my life, right? But I had heard the story when we were growing up how they, our family, the stories they would tell us were designed to terrify us, right? And so,
absolutely.
You ever remember the story they would told us about, hey, if you go in the woods and you hear a bell ringing, like a little ding, 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 like a little bell ring?
That's the first time it's popped in my head in how many years?
Right?
Because I mentally it out from all the terror we were.
So they'd be like, just whatever you do, just don't look back, don't look to your left, don't look to the right. If you hear that bell, and this is a story that they tell all up and down the freaking Appalachians, man, is about these white witches that go in there. Bro, to this day, if I ever hear like a little bell, like ring, ding, ding, I think of that. I'm trying to keep it PG. I think of that story, right? And so you hear that type of nonsense when we were growing up, man. It just like sticks in my head. But yeah, so
we're jumping off topic, but one thing you think about now as an adult, right, that we couldn't have thought about then, but when they said, you hear that bell, don't look back, don't look left, don't look right. What if the bell's ringing in front of you?
Right? What if it's like, over here, ding, 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 ding. Exactly. I look back on it now, man, it's like, how do you know that? I'm like, how would you know that, right? Have you ever heard of? No, I have never heard of bell, right? I've never heard of bell, right? But I guarantee you, anybody watching this podcast, if you're from the Appalachian Mountains, that story is well known, man, up and down, like that whole bell thing or whatever, right? Not that noise, man. But those woods, I could not stand going in there. I couldn't tell this dude no, right? But I could not stand going into those woods, man. And this Mount Shasta gives me the same thing because there was this story about this little boy. He went in there with his mom and his dad, and they were hiking. I'm going to leave his name out of it because he was a kid. He's probably grown up by now, but still, let's leave his name out of it. He goes missing, right? Calls up. His parents freak out. They call up or whatever. And evidently, Mount Shasta's, because of the weird stuff that goes on down there, they got a pretty, decent, quick reaction force. So these guys, they swoop in, trying to find this kid. Can't find him. 6 hours pass. They find him. Of course, it's in an area a mile behind them where 150 dudes walked through it already, and no one saw him, right?
Right.
The kid goes home. He's fairly small. A couple weeks later, he's talking to his mom, and he's like, hey, look, you want to go spend some time with your grandmother or something like this? And he's like, was it, I hope it's the good granny and not the bad granny. And she's like, what do you mean? And she was like, well, when I was lost in those woods, Granny found me, but she was really mean to me. She took me to a cave, and there were other people in this cave, and they were frozen in this cave. And then, she asked me to poop on some paper, or I guess what it was. But he said he couldn't do it because he was shy. And eventually she got mad at him, and then she just took him back and left him, right? And so the mother freaks out. Yeah, right. It's a crazy story, right? So the mom freaks out, calls her mother, and says, hey, he just told me this story. And she goes, well, 2 weeks ago, I was camping in there with a friend, and I fell asleep, and I woke up, and I had like these 2 puncture wounds in the back of my neck, and she had it too, and we were both disoriented, and she was very sick, and she left, right?
I heard something about that one.
Yeah, so like...
Go ahead.
So like those type of stories, man, like winning the lottery, like it's like getting struck by lightning if that happened to you. But that freaks me out, right? Like look, Dog Man, we just learned about. All right, Bigfoot. All right, I'm gonna get a shot off. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So like I'm gonna go down swinging, right? But like this,
And back to the little boy, man, whose evil grandmother took him into the cave.
Yeah.
Thank God for constipation's all I can say.
Yeah, exactly right. Like, what happened if he would have went to the bathroom? Well, what's that all about, right? Like, again, that's just weird. And that's a very specific detail, right? And like a story, right? Like, yeah.
It would make, and you stood here to make up a story for everybody that's going to be checking us out. Crapping on a piece of paper would not.
Right. That's not gonna make the list, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can make 100 drafts, and that's not gonna make the list, right? So like, man, that's just the weird stuff that goes on, and so then this guy, they also said that there was one of the Native American tribes there. They offer I couldn't find the website, but they offer a tour guide there. Like you can give them money, and they'll take you in there for like 2 or 3 days or whatever. And so they've been stories of people that have been in that on that tour that come up just like randomly missing, like with like people in eyesight of them, like the fourth person in a line or something like that, and they cross the corner, that person's gone, and there's a person in front of them and there's a person behind them, and they just freaking disappear. Right? And so the Native American legends, all four of them say, don't go above the tree line. Right? They say that this Mount Shasta, they say that it is the home of the creator God. That's what they say. He lives there, right? And whatever you do above the tree line, and I looked at the mountain, and I see where that tree line stops, man. And this says whatever you do, you're not allowed to go above that tree line, right? And so that gives me pause, man. So we're going to make that a Scooby-Doo mobile is what we call it, man. We're going to make our little Enigma van or whatever.
Yeah.
We're going to have to take that with us, man. Because I don't know huh?
Hey, we've been through a hard 50 years, man, and hey, I'll push that envelope, bro. I'll go up above that tree line.
You want to go above the tree line? You're going to make me do it, right? You're going to make me do it, right? If you're going to call me a coward, all right, you're going to make me do it. I guess I'll have to do it, right? So, yeah. I mean, I'm willing to roll the dice, man, but like, whoa. Yeah, so above the tree line. You can go above the tree line, though, but you're not supposed to, according to the Native Americans down there. All right, man, so look. All right, man, we're going above the tree line then.
I thought that was just a suggestion not to go above the tree line. I didn't hear you say, if Native people do not want you to, I wouldn't do that.
Oh, no, they'll let you. You can get a pass, man. You can go. You have to let the rangers know or something like that if you want to summit, right? So I guess to go a certain distance, but yeah, we'll break that tree line, man.
Oh, yeah.
And then like, all right, if we come back and it's 100 years later, it's your fault.
Hey, but if we come back 100 years later and we're still 50?
Yeah, I believe, right? Boom. Come back, we're looking good, right? Come back 50 years later, 100 years later. So then it goes into, right, what it's talking about as well is that this guy, J.C. Brown, when he found that lava tube and he went back 11 miles. He went back there, he found a temple with statues inside that seemed to glow in the dark. He found golden shields, golden spears, and of course, giants. 13-foot, 15-foot giants. Doesn't say how many fingers they had or whatever. Of course, they were laid back there as well.
And skeletal remains?
Remains. Skeletal remains, right? So there was no live giants back there. Skeletal remains, right? And when he went back to... This is another thing that makes me give his story some credibility, because he went back and this guy put together like a fairly impressive team to go back. And like 80 people were with him. And when he went to go back the day of, like, he just totally vanished, right? He was gone. He just disappeared. Some people try to say that, oh, he, they got him, they didn't want this information to come out, so they, took care of him. But other people say that because he was on the verge of exposing them, that the Lemurians, they offered him in. They just took him in there. And they brought him into the thing. People tell stories too of these UFOs flying into the mountain, right?
Right.
Woo! Thank you. Flying into the mountain, right? And so, not in a hole either, like a portal into the mountain.
Side.
Yeah, into the side of the mountain.
So that's one thing I couldn't find is how big that opening was that they discovered on the side.
Couldn't tell.
So they're saying a UFO flying.
So some people are saying that the things just go into the mountain somehow, right? So I don't know, man. Like it made me think it was like some kind of Wakanda Forever technology where they shielded it out, but then they found like that hole they were talking about. Like how big is that hole? What's going in there?
Right.
But then it got me also to thinking as well, is like, okay, if they lived in that mountain for so long, now how could they stay hidden? But then I realized that they're not even trying to hide. And they're not even, there's like all this stuff that's going on with the weird stuff that goes around alongside that mountain. It doesn't seem like they're trying to hide it, right?
Me and you go there, man. I feel like we're going to find that's a portal to another alien planet.
Right.
That just... That I feel it.
You feel it? Hey, cuz, what would we say if we stepped through that portal? Whoop! Oh, damn. Yo.
Well, if we get off the out of the portal and we're on a planet that's probably what I was wanting to say is full of women. Look like our women here. I might not be coming back.
You might have to leave. I'll come back. I have to come back and tell him, man. He took one for the team, man. I wouldn't have made it out. I wouldn't have made it out, man. You laid his life down for me, right? Sorry, I hit my desk. Shake the camera. Yeah, I wouldn't have made it out without that sacrifice. You'd be a true American hero, man. A true American hero, bro. You would get it for sure. But yeah, so freaking. Yeah, and also too is when I was looking, I read one more story in there that I thought was fairly fascinating on how they were talking about it. You were talking about how those clouds seem to form at the top of Mount Shasta. It is high enough where it can have multiple weather systems, right?
Right,
at the top to do it as well. And I saw this one video that was pretty cool. It looked like a jellyfish doing some weird stuff above this mountain. This girl was talking about it as well. It got me to thinking, like what is that? What could that be? Do you think that these guys are so advanced, right? That it would just like our minds just can't even comprehend.
You know what
they have?
I mean, like I said, we're 50 and I can almost imagine that whatever is going on out there is definitely intelligent enough to make us not know what's going on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, that's a good point, right? That's a great point. Is that obviously they don't fear us, huh?
So it does not mean that I'm crazier than a shithouse rat. I am, but
right?
It doesn't.
That doesn't mean that, right? Doesn't mean that. You totally are, but like that doesn't prove it, right?
Right.
but yeah, so they don't have any fear of us whatsoever. Their technology is way so much advanced than us, right? But then it got me thinking they don't really do anything to try to help us though, right? Right? If you're so advanced, right, and you're so much more over the top, right, and that we are so beneath their understanding, this gives me pause, right? We're so below your understanding, that we don't understand you. We share this planet, and you just sit back and watch us do all this craziness, and like you don't like come out and say nothing, right?
You know what? And unless they've attempted that, right? Mm-hmm. And whatever normal person would make contact with these UFO aliens or whatever, and then the government comes in, gets them out of the way, and they have been contacting and talking to these aliens for years and years and years, and we just don't know. Just seems strange that all of a sudden the government is now popping off saying that UFOs are real.
True. Yeah, for sure. Well, look, here's how you fix that, man. If any of you Lemurians are working, get up, go to the garage, get in your little spacecraft, fly that bad boy east and park that bitch on the White House. Not the grass, land that bad boy right on top. and don't move, right? Do not move until you get your way. I mean, and then that's what you would want to do. And maybe that's what's in the works or whatever. But it was the same way when I did that story. We haven't done it yet, man, about Operation Highjump or whatever it was, when we were talking about Real Admiral Byrd went down to Antarctica, and evidently he ended up inside of Agartha, which was the Atlanteans, last refuge that was in the ice or whatever. And they told him the same thing, that you guys aren't ready for us to do this yet. And I'm thinking like, yo, you literally, if the story's true, so for you people watching the battle, if you want to look for the battle of the Lemurians versus the Atlanteans, they're on ancient Hindu text. You can go look them online, right? You're going to lecture us about what we do, but literally your story is you caused so much nuclear devastation on the planet that you wiped each other out, and you're going to tell us, oh yeah, you guys aren't ready. This stuff like that, cuz it makes me think that, yo, you're full of shit. You know what I'm saying, right? It just makes me think like this story, like this isn't, yo, that is not what we think it is. It's something, right? Like it's definitely something, right? But yo, we need to get off this, that these guys are so much more morally advanced than us, and that they're so much more like on this like higher level, because literally Lemurians and Atlanteans, they went to war with each other, and then they fought and killed each other, right? So yeah, that's just my personal opinion on it, right? And we could be proven wrong in 2024, but
like we had told people before, we're going to take these trips on every topic that you and I have discussed up until this point and further on down the road. We're going to take trips to debunk for ourselves or have some kind of answers for you guys. So
yeah,
we're in.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about going to this Mount Shasta, man. Like it seems like it's just beautiful. Like I'd like to do the hike. It's completely terrifying. You know what I'm saying, right? But like, yeah, I'm actually pretty pumped up to go and do with it, right? I didn't really go down too many of the ghost stories that they were talking about, like that were going in the woods, man. I'm like, I'm not into that type of spooky paranormal stuff or whatever, like the spirit world, and totally exists, like it's real, but like it's not really my thing to go into it. But the Sasquatch, the giants, the UFO, the lost civilization inside the mountain, the mysterious disappearances. This guy, J.C. Brown, was all in the news. That's right up our alley, cuz. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, the whole ghost thing, and I'm not making that a topic, but, it's funny how we don't like talking about, I'm not into the whole ghost thing. I don't want to see a demon and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, right.
But when kids, we used to play hide and go seek in graveyards and never had one issue.
No. Now, there's also times too, man, like kids these days, they don't play like we played, man. Like, and it's not just us. The people watching this show had to be our age, man. And we would go explore like abandoned houses, like just, like, like churches that were in the middle of nowhere where the woods had grown up so hard over it, like you couldn't even get there anymore. And I remember that we played hide and go seek in graveyards or whatever. Never saw anything, right? Now
they have video games, phones, and TVs, and they don't leave the house.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so maybe that's it. So some of these guys should get out more and go do some. They need to put merry-go-rounds back on the playgrounds too, man. Remember those merry-go-rounds you spin around?
Absolutely. Put your buddy scooter back wheel up against it and just floor the gas, make that thing spin. That's before you.
Anyways, all right, man. Well, that's that. What's that?
No, I was laughing at, man. I was laughing. I'm pumped up, man. I'm ready.
All right, so you got anything else for Mount Shasta?
No, but we will start letting everybody know when we start planning trips, man, because we're going to do lives on these trips. So
absolutely, we'll be going live on that. I asked Alexa, stop. I got Alexa in here wants to give me a lecture on Mount Shasta. Tell me those things aren't eavesdropping on us, man. The government recording all of our stuff over here.
We can make Alexa our next guest.
Exactly right. All right, cuz. Well, that's all I got. You got anything else?
No, we on the way out, man.
All right. If you stuck around this long, please do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. I don't care what you do with that bell. You slide that off to the side.
Ring it.
Rooster says ring the bell. Rooster, tell him, dog. Hit that bell. we got 245 subs. I think that's awesome. right? We're trying to get 1,000 subs, then 10,000, then 100,000, and 1,000,000. But I think it's awesome, man. I'm so happy with that 245 subs. For everybody that we talked to last week on the comment sections, for the ones that had a good time, thanks for talking to us. For the ones we made mad, you'll be.
Is there any say that's going to hurt our feelings? Be yourself. Say what you want, and respond to you in the nicest way possible.
Yeah, I mean, like there's nothing you can say to insult us or hurt my feelings. No.
You can't say anything to hurt us any worse than our family's done.
Right, yeah, exactly. You've clearly never been to Thanksgiving at our house.
Right, that's right.
All right, cuz. All right, until next time, we'll see you then.
Later, yo.
Subscribe now and turn on the notifications to join us on this extraordinary journey into the unknown.